So one of the books I pulled off the bookshelf recently was The Art of War, Sun Tzu's The Art of War. And, when I read it the first time, it immediately gave me a lot of guidance and inspiration for how to work up my cases, how to settle my cases for the maximum value. But going back and revisiting it now during a pandemic, I feel the same way. Renewed energy on how you can continue to work up your cases and be creative in developing your cases, even during a pandemic. If you can't get a trial setting, in most jurisdictions, you could still get hearings on motions to compel. You can still get hearings on motions for summary judgment. You can still push for discovery. And so, what types of creative things can we do as lawyers, even though we don't have a trial setting? Going back to couple hundred-year-old book on war strategies has kind of been an inspiration for me. I don't want our listeners to think that somehow we're blessed by having all the perfect cases.
I wish.
And that not one of our clients has pre-existing medical conditions that they didn't tell us about, or that there isn't some YouTube video or Facebook video of them doing something ridiculous when they shouldn't have. Because if you're any type of a trial lawyer, you've got those cases. Everybody has those cases. And the reality is the best lawyers still have those cases, but they know those issues exist, and they can still strategize and evaluate their cases based on knowing those weaknesses. So, and that's another big chapter in The Art of War, which is knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses.
It's not that you don't care about the result, but your work and your self-worth is detached from the result. So I think I'm a great trial lawyer, and I think I do great work. Does that mean I'm going to win every case? No. I have no control. And one thing I've learned is, like the case I have next week that I was supposed to try, I believe 100% it's their fault. I believe 100% my client didn't do anything wrong. I believe 100% my client was not hurt that bad, and he got hurt, and his life was ruined because of this. And I believe that with all my heart. But I also know I wasn't there. I didn't know him before this happened. So the only prayer I can have is that justice be done. I shouldn't be praying that I win, whether it's just or not.
Right.
And so, I know I can't control that. I can't control how a jury is going to take something. I can't control what rulings the judge is going to make. What I can control is my effort. You always want conflict in the other room. You want conflict between the defense lawyer, the insurance company, and the insured. And the more havoc you can create, the more that the insurance company just wants to get out of there and pay to go away. And so if you can start getting that company to tell the insurance company, I don't want to get dug into anymore. I don't want to put up another employee for deposition. I don't want to produce these documents. You get rid of this case. It puts a lot of pressure on them.
That's exactly right. And I think that one of the fun ways to strategize a case for me is to find out who my pressure point is going to be. Every case has a person who, if you make that one person squirm, is going to capitulate and say, this is too uncomfortable, get rid of it for whatever reason. So there is a component of peace in your universe that you kind of have to find if you're going to work in this practice of stopping and starting and not having control over whether you're going to go to trial when you've invested a ton of time, energy, and money in proceeding, only to have it pulled out from under you. I mean, it's disappointing, it's frustrating, it's, it's easy to get down. And so unless you have some kind of an outlet for yourself, I can imagine that it can beat you down. And
you do have to be compassionate with yourself. Like on one hand, like I said, you can't let it eat you up, but you also, when you feel something, you have to let yourself feel it so that you can let it go. If you pretend it's not, the whole thing of the non-detachment, you can't pretend it's not there. It's like, I really want to go to trial next week, and it really sucks that I can't. And, we did all this work, and, we're going to have to redo a bunch of it. That stinks, I've got it. But at the same time, I can't do anything about it. So I feel it. Same for when I lose a case. I mean, I go in there, I second guess myself for a while. I feel really bad. I feel horrible for the client. But then I let it go. It's like, okay, I felt it. It's real. Now we let it go. It's a crazy profession that we've chosen. It can eat you up. It can also be incredibly joyful. And I think, I really appreciate your approaches to creativity and finding ways to, pressure people, pressure the other side when we don't have our normal weapon of the trial to hit them over the head with, and, going from everything from, the most cutting edge, Nick Rowley, Sari de Lamotte, to going back, hundreds of years ago to Sun Tzu, whatever it takes. That's one of the things I enjoy about practicing with you is the creativity and open-mindedness. And I have actually admired the growth I've seen in you, and, trying to struggle with not letting it eat you up, and okay, you want to win every time, but realizing you're not going to you don't win every single hearing on every single case, and that's okay.